Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Barcast TV and to another episode of Mastering the Early Game. Today we're going to be analyzing Randy's vehicle open on Comet Catcher, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the replay. And if y'all enjoy these kinds of replay analysis, these kind of open videos, make sure you tell me, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment if you want to see more of these videos in the future. So we're going to be trying something a little bit different today, and I'm going to be taking some notes as we watch this video together. So we're going to start that here for now. I'm going to pause the replay and take a look at these first initial building placements, and build order. So let's go ahead and open up a notepad here. So I've got Randy's vehicle open on Comet Catcher, and I'm just going to start writing down the movements we do with the commander, the production of the factory, and what these initial construction vehicles are doing as they come out of the factory. So let's go ahead and make a note. So initially with the commander, we're going to be going 2 mechs, PGen, into LLT. So let's go ahead and get back to the replay, and I'll unpause the game. So this is pretty standard on this map. You'll see a lot of players. We can either open up 2 PGens or, 2 mexes and do a little bit of a walk to this third mex over here. Or we can open up just the 2 mexes and place your first initial factory over here. I'm kind of leaning more towards the 3 mechs before factory open. This is a really large map and a large travel distance between the 2 enemy bases. So I feel like we're not as vulnerable on some of those other smaller maps. You know, trying to get our factory open. Trying to get our factory completed before ticks or scouts start arriving on our base. So really want to emphasize the economy production here and be as greedy as possible on the map. So that's what we'll be doing. And something I wanted to point out before we unpause the replay is just this PGen wall we see Randy has been making with these opens. And what he's doing is he's trying to place this wall to get the position of this solar collector here. And that's going to allow him to finish the wall. So you'll see him cancel this build order, save for this mechs over here, and then the next PGen. So let me clear the board, unpause the replay, and we'll get well underway here. So pretty standard open. We go 2 mechs, PGen into LLT. We do a little bit of a walk with our commander, and we're going to be going mechs, PGen, land factory. And I'll go ahead and make a note on our notepad for this. So let's go ahead and get over to that. So 2 PGen, mechs, LLT, and then we'll just write a note here. Walk to third mechs. Walk to third mechs, and then we'll go third mechs, second PGen, vehicle factory. So let's go ahead and get back to the replay. Unpause the game. So here we are. Here's our third PGen, second mechs, and then we'll see the land factory here. And just notice the positioning of this, vehicle plant. Notice the positioning of this. The output is uninterrupted here, so we don't really have anything obstructing the units flowing out of this factory. That's just great positioning here. And we see we already have our third PGen queued up. So let me pause the replay and just update our notepad for this. So third mech, second PGen vehicle plant, and then we'll go third PGen. So pretty cool. Let me go back to the game. Still getting used to these hotkeys. Unpause the game, and here we are. So take a look at the build queue coming out of this as soon as Randy chooses to queue that up. So it looks like we went 2 Rascals, 2 construction vehicles, and 2 Incisor, and I'm sure he'll be making additional construction vehicles soon. So, and let's take a note of this. We see with this commander here, as soon as his third PGen is done, he starts assisting this factory, right? So let's take a look at when he stops assisting that, and then make a note on our notes here of when to stop assisting this. And let's take a look at these. Take a look at the mass and income bar. As soon as it starts getting low to start stalling on eco, Randy stops assisting the factory and moves down to, I'm assuming, construct an additional PGen over here. So let's make a note of that. So what is this? We'll take we'll go, what is the factory producing? So it's 2 scouts, 2 construction vehicles, 1 light tank, oops, excuse me, 1 light tank, and then it's 3 more construction vehicles. And I'll make a note here about assisting the factory. So at 100% third PGen, we're going to be assisting factory with the commander. And then notice that he stopped assisting that at about 50% of this first construction vehicle. So we're going to be making that note. So at 50% first construction vehicle, add 4th PGen with the commander. Cool. So let's get back to the game. I'll unpause the replay. And here we are, 4th PGen, and then our commander is going to be doing a little bit of a walk and capping these 2 mexes just south of our initial main base. So pretty cool to see. You got some more build queues coming up. Just assisted that factory for just a second before moving down, and then our first construction vehicle is actually assisting our vehicle plant. So let me pause the replay and update our notepad. So we have this 50%. Let me update that. So at 100% 4th PGen, we are going to walk to adjacent mechs, and then we'll go 2 mechs, 2 PGen, LLT. And our first construction vehicle assists the factory. So first construction vehicle assist factory. Cool. So let's get back to the replay. Unpause the game. And we can see this build order here with our commander. He's just doing this quick little walk down south to these adjacent mexes. It's going to be adding on a metal extractor, 2 PGens, and then an LLT. And I've covered this in a lot of these previous videos here, but just want to state it again. These metal extractors are close together or far away. Excuse me. They're going to be placed close together so that this LLT can provide ample protection for both of them. And notice how he's squeezing this LLT between the 2 solar collectors and the mechs. So really good SimCity. It kind of protects these LLTs from those early run-bys. And we'll be making a note of that in future replays as well. Looks like our second vehicle is underway. And once again, I don't really want to cover what Randy is seeing with these scouts, what he's doing, how he's controlling these. I'm going to be covering those in more in future videos, doing kind of like full replay analyses. So I had a great comment the other day about really not noticing in these open videos, not really reacting or responding to what Randy's seeing with these units. And I think there's a time and a place for that. And just for the context of like these opens, it's really what I want to be covering here is how he's expanding, where his radars are going, how many construction vehicles he's creating, and where he's expanding to. So those are kind of the broad brushstrokes I want to be hitting with these opens. That's why I keep them so concise. And we'll be making more videos covering how to control our first initial units, how to respond to what we see our opponent doing, so on and so forth. So let me unpause the game. Continue on with this, and it looks like our second construction vehicle is actually assisting the factory as well. So I'll go ahead and update our notepad with that. So first construction vehicle assist factory, I'll just write first and second construction vehicle assist factory. So let's go ahead and get back into the replay. We have our first incisor coming out. I think we lost both those scouts on the other side of the map. And this incisor is just staying home. He's kind of protecting this little run-by path directly into the main base from any kind of forward attack. So pretty cool. We have these 2 flanks covered by the LLTs and the commander. And this frontal assault point, I suppose, is being covered by the LLT. And we have our first radar coming up with our second construction vehicle, so pretty cool to see. I'll make a note of that. And it looks like our third construction vehicle is going to be finishing the solar collector wall and adding on additional, additional power consumption. So let's update our notepad. So we'll do at 100% tank. We'll do add radar with second construction vehicle. And then third construction vehicle, add PGens. And then I'll make a note to finish the wall. Finish the wall, just kidding. Let's get back to the replay. So 1, 2, 3, and then our commander is making a nice little walk. He's going to be capping, looks like this mech's here, and I'm assuming he's going to be going like this just to cap these 4 mechs here in total, and we'll see if he's adding on any LLTs or radars to cover this, and we see that actually. So mechs, radar, and I'm sure he's going to be making an LLT. So here's our 4th construction vehicle coming out of the factory, and looks like that's going to be expanding to this south direction. Let's go ahead and make a note of that. So I'll pause the replay and try and update our notepad to accommodate what this commander is doing and what this 4th construction vehicle is doing. So let's move to that. So we have 4th construction vehicle. We're going to be expand south on left side of the map, and then we'll make a note excuse me, make a note about if you're on the opposite side of the map, that would be north on the right side of the map. So expand south on left side of map and north on right side of map. Hopefully that serves you all well in your future games. And let's go ahead and make a note about the commander. So it's com expands towards mid, and we go mechs, radar, LLT. So let's get back to the game. Oh, excuse me. And I'll unpause the game. And notice the positioning of this LLT. It's not perfectly between the two mechs, but it still does a decent enough job covering them from attacks from both directions. And really utilizing the build range of the commander. We didn't have to take such a big of a walk, kind of moving over to this position to add on the radar, and perfectly placing this LLT between. So really just kind of emphasizing the speed of the commander's build power to and build range to add this LLT and add this radar and LLT. So pretty cool to see. And it looks like our 5th construction vehicle has made its way out onto the map here. And that's just going to be assisting this expanding construction vehicle. So let's make a note of that. So 5th construction vehicle is just assist expanding construction vehicle. So cool to see. Let's get back to the game. And we're getting close to ending this replay. Typically around like 40 mass income. We pause these, and I think that's a decent spot. We want to hit the large brush strokes of, where these radars are at, what we're doing with our initial commander, how we're expanding, so on and so forth. Looks like our commander just went for kind of like a U-shaped walk here, just trying to expand into these mechs as quickly as possible. So we swoop this way, and then we're going to be coming back up and hitting these mechs up here. And really what this allows us to do is expand our economy in a safe, protected way. I know for me personally, it can be difficult to protect our expanding engineers from our opponent's run-bys and whatnot. And using your commander's build power to expand, especially on Comet Catcher, where we have so many mechs so close together, I think it makes a lot of sense to use the protection and build power, the speed at which we can get these, mechs and LLTs up is really powerful, and then leaving the leaving the construction vehicles at home to assist our factory and add on P-gens around our base. And notice how this LLT is covering our main base. We have this first incisor, protecting these run-by paths. And I'll make a note about this factory here. So looks like finally our factory is on repeat. And for those of you who don't know, there's a repeat command down here on the bottom of the construction card. And it does exactly what it says, and something I've been trying to incorporate into my own games. And it can be very mechanically intensive to have to go back and forth between microing, expanding, and managing your build queue in your factories. Well, we can just have that done for us by setting a repeat command. And let's look at what Randy's actually done. We're going for 5 incisors to every 1 construction vehicle. And what this does is kind of twofold. It lets us get, units onto the map, of course, these light tanks, but as we're increasing our economy, we can increase the build power associated with it. So 5-to-1 is a pretty cool ratio, and I've seen him do this even out of his bot lab openings. 5 grunts to 1 construction bot open. So let's go ahead and make a note of this. So we'll go to our notepad and kind of make our final note here. We're getting real close to ending this replay. I'll just do at 100% 5th construction vehicle, set factory on repeat. And we'll go ahead and add what this ratio is. So it's 5 light tanks per 1 construction vehicle. And this is a pretty solid little checklist. It's not too detailed. It's not too verbose or wordy, and we really want to be concise with these. If y'all like this style of replay analysis, if you like me kind of adding this notepad taking, this note taking along with the replay analysis, go ahead and let me know in the comments section if you think this is an improvement over previous iterations of mastering the early game. And yeah, I'm looking for some feedback on this, so thank you for that. Let's go ahead and get back to the replay. And we're getting pretty close to ending this. I think I really wanted to hit these large brushstrokes, and really anything past this, I really wouldn't consider it an open. It's more of like a build order, so to speak. And there is a difference between the two. Build orders are kind of like more of a strategy, what you're aiming towards in that early mid game. The open is like a very, very small slice of the actual game. Is like how you're going to be opening. If I can relate this to StarCraft, it'd be something like, Command Center First, 14cc, or just like was like a 15 rack, 16 refinery to get your early Reaper out. It's more or less like a very small section of the game, and how we're going to be what we're going to be doing with our first initial moves here. And really anything past this can take such a large deviation. I mean, our opponent could have very well attacked one of these rear mexas and lost those, for this LLT over here. And we would have had to change this up to depending on that, and that just has this kind of cascading effect throughout the game. And you don't have these very, very initial moments kind of mapped out what your open is going to be achieving for you. So I hope these replay analysis help. If you want to see a specific map done, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what map you would like to see featured in a future episode, and I'll try and bring some more of these vehicle opens to y'all. So thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next replay.